Once more, you're heartily welcome back to the program, and I am meeting Larry Kevin once more. We move forward with the first paper for today, the Median. The Median of Stephen Ojong for this morning have as lead story. It says back to school or lockdowns, the unending folly of Anglophone separatists. That is the big story captured by Stephen Ojong. In that said publication, means Fika food standoff, he says FIFA suspension dangles over Cameroon. We move on to Anglophone conflict. Amber fighters kill a bike rider, burn taxi in my 16 Bolifamba of Boya. And we take you to this other story. Water supply scheme. Soweto launches open invitation tender. You can find more on that said paper. Widiko Momo Division, Senator Henry Francis provides books for school goers. You can find details on that set paper. For today, we make a stop over with elections Cameroon. It says respect for deadline. Elecam closes voters registration for 2024. You get to read more on that set publication of Stephen Ojong of the Median. Info Matin for today. Info Matin report of Sino-Africa relations. It says Paul Biya in Beijing as he left the nation yesterday for the Chinese African summit that will be taking place in Beijing. Get to read more on Info 10 newspaper for this day. Moving on to the next publication of municipal updates of Victor Bamacham, it says Central Region Decentralization Boss inaugurates both Macaque Council Building Guest House. That is the lead story on municipal updates. To both schooling, journalist Misread Wong offers didactic materials to Isu youth in Yaoundé, and the third one, the Voice newspaper desk editor Ben Humphrey dies. You can find more on the young man there who passed on at the age 28. Moving away from municipal updates, we take you to the Voice. The Voice of Randy Josa talks of Brent on the House, enigmatic, eloquent, emblematic desk editor snatch at Prime. You can find the demise on the details on the demise regarding Ben Humphrey there on that publication of the Voice newspaper for this day. From the Voice newspaper, we make a stop over to Luju report of Indomitable Lions. It says 11 players already with Mark Brace at the Yaoundé Hilton Hotel, and the note of lecture, it talks of the serene of stress. You can find more on that set paper for today of Luju for this morning. From Luju, we take you to Info Asho. This Info Asho talks of lions in Yaoundé, Namibians in Garoua. Get to read more intricacies and the unending confusion in Cameroon sports. You can find details on that set of newspaper of Info Asho for today on page 4. Moving on to this other story of this publication by the Minister of Transport regarding the road-free accident campaign of Jean-Ernest Mastenangale BBA. You can find details on that information on the pages of Les Info as shown. We take you to the sports paper, L'Actu Sport for this morning. Says Indomitable Lions. It talks of the return of the clash between Samuel Eto'o as Nasi Mwele Kombi. That is one of the big stories you can find on Actu Sport for today. In the said Actu Sport, the paper talks of 8 medals in gold won in Manila. You can find more on that said paper for that sports story for this morning. And World Cup of the under 20 Women World Cup, it talks of the baby lionesses in the rhythm of victory. You can find details on their performance on L'Actu Sport for this morning. From L'Actu Sport, we take you to quotidian emissions for today. It talks of open war between the Ministry of Sport and Physical Education and Cameroon Football Federation, FECAFOOT. It talks of FIFA flexes her muscle on suspension of Cameroon if the government don't stop meddling with the independent body of the FA's, the country's FA. You can find details on that FIFA's warning to Cameroon on page 3 of Info Quotidian Emergence for today. Cooperation ties of Sino-African relations. It says Paul Biya already in China for the Sino-African summit. That that is being chaired by the Chinese President Xi Jinping. Far North region, the paper reports of those heavy rain in the Far North region that is destroying crops and leaving most localities inundated. And Bafusam, the paper talks of a 10-year-old accused of killing. You can find details on that here section of quotidian emissions for today. From quotidian emissions, we move forward with Cameroon Tribune for this morning. It talks of the fourth Sino-African Summit. It says Paul Biya and road to Beijing. You can find details on the president and wife over there at Cameroon Tribune. Indomitable Lions players progressively arrive in CAM and IMF partners with Cameroon. Taking you to this other story of Cameroon Tribune, and we move forward with the story of elites who are making sure that effective school resumption takes place all across the country when it comes to the 9th of September 2024. The satiric newspaper of Le Populi for this morning is reporting on the Indomitable Lions. It talks of it talks of the confusion between Fecafoot and the country's Ministry of Sport and Physical Education on where should the match be played, despite the fact that the Confederation of African Football CAF has given her firm instruction for the match to be played in Garoua following the choice of Fecafoot President Samuel Eto'o. La Meteo for this morning talks of the Holiday Championship. Philemon Etundingwa, promoter of Living Together, that's the Minister of Basic Education, who just ended the Holiday Football Tournament in his native locality. La Voix du Jeune for this morning says obituary. The press in Cameroon is in mourning following the demise of the young journalist Humphrey Fang, who passed on to glory yesterday in the city of Yaoundé, according to La Voix du Jeune newspaper for today. From La Voix du Jeune, we take you to the economic newspaper of Quotidian Economy for this morning. It talks of government sequels to Nana Buba. You can find more on that set paper for today. And the first semester for 2024, the paper gives a balance sheet of the importation rate and trade deficit in Cameroon, according to the economic newspaper Quotidian Economy. From Quotidian Economy, we take you to the health sector with My Hospital. My Hospital reports of the regional hospital annex of Kuseri. It says the paper reports of 10 months without a director at the helm of the regional hospital annex of Kuseri in the far north region of the country. Back to school 2024-2025. It says the Magribi ICO Cameroon Eye Institute in Yaoundé launches campaign of consultation. And still in the light of school resumption 2024-2025 academic year, the paper reports of the first lessons of the year being reinforced to students and pupils who get to read details on My Hospital. We remain with the health sector with another health newspaper for this day, Quotidian Eco Sante. For today, it talks of the regional fund for the promotion of health in the East region. It says the implementation of the universal health coverage. You can find details on that set publication of Quotidian Eco Sante for today. And Dr. Tamfak identifies the principal obstacle of the source medicine of the African traditional medicine situation. You can find details on that set paper for today. And from the health paper, we move on to politics now with Repair reports on the energy crisis. The energy crisis, it says the absence of the Nakshiga situation. This follows an interview accorded to the Minister of Water Resources and Energy, Gaston Elundu Esomba, on the pages of Repair for today. And war without end. Fecafoot, Minister of Sport and Onis get to read more on the war without end in Cameroon in the sporting milieu, to be precise, football. Innovation newspaper for this morning reports on Andrien Galemben. It talks the paper reports of my return journey to Algeria. You can find more on that said paper for this morning of Innovation for today. The timber sector, the paper talks of the Suntak of exportation in the timber and forestry products to the world market and other countries across the globe. Echo News for this morning reports on after Glencore Bonbon enforces the clouds. You can find details on that said publication for today on Echo News. And BVMAC report of SAFCAN, the value of more active activity for the second semester of the year. Just to reiterate, BVMAC is the Central African Sub-Regional Stock Exchange Market, known for French for short as BVMAC. Le Flambeau newspaper talks of the last minute voters registration in the Vina division of the Central region. The paper talks of the beautiful patriotism activity that was shot over there in the Vina division. How many of locals in that locality turn out massively to make the last minute rush to the Elecam's registration procedure for voters participation. Le Point for this morning is reporting on the combat for stadium between the match between Cameroon and Namibia. You can find more on that said paper for today. Simone Owono Mimbo, the paper talks of the Cold War. Get to read more on that publication for today. Nouvelle Horizon newspaper talks of is reporting on the hope of the population in the locality of Nkuveyang. You can find details on that said paper for today. And away from the Cameroonian tabloid, we take you to next door Nigeria with the Nigerian tabloid for today. We start off with the Guardian. The Guardian talks of insecurity, secessionists, agitators. It talks of deep FED threat in the southeastern states of Nigeria, and false scarcities sack carry now coalition demands, and PDP says Wike not above parties as a disciplinary committee issues summon to the current Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. Away from that, demand for Dangote's PMS intensifies as petrol hits 1,000 naira per litre. New Telegraph for this morning talks of flooding may get worse in incoming days, according to the NHPPACED warrants, and in that publication HQ, we have arrested 10 suspects over alleged destabilization plots in Nigeria. These are the protesters of the End Bad Governance protest that rocked 10 days in Nigeria. Daily Trust for this morning says Boko Haram kills many farmers, others in fresh Yobe attack in the northern part of Nigeria. End Bad Governance protest, lawyers, Amnesty International kick ass court remand protesters in prison. And Vanguard for this morning reports of anxiety pump. Price of petrol raises towards 1,405 naira per litre. Presidency denies alleged forceful relations between Tinubu and Shetima. Get to read more on that publication of Vanguard for today. Nigerian airline not delisted from operating to U.S. over safety, according to federal government. The Punch newspaper for this morning, PDP governors Wike may clash as NWC meets Wednesday on the this is the disciplinary council of the major opposition party in Nigeria, the People's Democratic Party. Hunger protest, Britain denies fleeing as court remand 10. You can find more on Vanguard for today. Blueprint for this morning. Please place 2 million bounty on wanted Britain Nigerian over plots to topple the Tinubu's administration. Sports, Napoli reached deal with Galatasaray over Victor Osimhen deal to move on to the Turkish side. The Daily Times for this morning, federal government charges 10 End Bad Governance protesters with treason charges. You can find more on the Daily Times. And PDP summons Wike sets to discipline members for anti-party activities, and flood claims 200 lives, displaces over 208,000 people in 28 states in Nigeria, according to the special report done by one of the Nigerian relief agencies. First news for this morning talks of Britain accused of plotting to overthrow Tinubu's government, and I'm not a fugitive ready to face Nigerian authority. Get to read more on that said paper for today. And the governor of Enugu visits the Nigerian musician popularly known for his hit track that is making wave now as Kwakwanko. Get to read more on that said paper on his visit of relief, as he gave lots of relief materials and cash to the artist who is not active for now. Daily News Hub for this day says Britain accused of plotting to overthrow Tinubu speak from hiding flight back. You get to read more on what Tinubu is saying on the set activity to overthrow his government of in the APC's led administration. No rift in Aso Rock. Shetima not sidelined by Tinubu, says presidency. And Egbert continues as Inspector General of Police extended. We move away from Nigeria to Cameroon. This time around, we take you to the Guardian Post. The Guardian Post for this morning talks of no child in Northwest, Southwest should stay at home regarding back to school 2024-2025 academic year. That plucks the Voice Dex editor Mbeng Humphrey, and we take you to Bia, off to China for Sino-African Summit. Messager Subdivision US-based health experts Ndasi Alvis takes annual Shah Festival to next level. And Daily Voice for today, Daily Voice reports on quest for HND certificates. Ministry of Higher Education frustrates confused students in Cameroon. And Stop Press, it says obituary, we announced the untimely passing of Mbeng Humphrey, Dex editor at the Voice newspaper of Randy Josam. George Kelong had talk with the SDO or Kwetong Anderson of Ndonga Mantong Division, not of Ngokotunja Division of the Northwest region over Cameroon calling off last Sunday. And bringing German football to Cameroon, the paper reporter of Dash Media secures audiovisual rights. Get to read more on that publication for today. We move on to one of the last newspapers on our disposal for this morning. We move on to the Women's Advocate paper. That is Ladies News. Ladies News talks of injustice injustice against rural women that rise now to 31.9%. And in that said publication, FinTech Hub to propel startups and modernize the banking sector. You can find details on that paper of Ladies News for this morning. From Ladies News, we take you to the next publication for today. That should be the last for now. That is Le Messager of late Pius Njawe presidential elections 2025. Honorable Kavaige Jibril mobilizes his constituents for President Paul Biya's candidature for next year's presidential elections. Moving on to this other story, Beijing, the promised land. That's a question you can find on the bottom page story of the Le Messager for today, following the holding of the Sino-African Summit is taking place in the Chinese city of Beijing and being chaired by Chinese President Xi Jinping. With that paper of late Pius Njawe of Le Messager, viewers of High Television, this is what concludes today's package of the program of Press Brief. We'll be back tomorrow with someone for the second phase of the program. For me and the entire crew, it's a blessed day in the company of High Television. Till we come your way tomorrow. Bye-bye.